Shattered Skies is a game that I honestly never thought I'd even play, let alone pay for, but here we are. A lot of people from my live stream recommended the game to me, even though the creators of the game, Free Reign Entertainment, are responsible for War Z. If you don't remember the game War Z or Infestation Survival Stories, it was one of the most notorious early access rip-off games of all time, and gamers are not so easily forgiving when it comes to early access rip-offs. I'm not gonna lie. After the first 20 to 30 minutes of gameplay, I wasn't impressed. I was unfortunate enough to get stuck under the ground, inside a wall, and typical early access survival bullshit. I really wanted to hate this game, but the more I played it, the more I warmed up to it. It's not the best survival MMO in the world, and it certainly isn't groundbreaking in any possible way, but it is fun, or at least for the 5 hours I put into it so far. There is something about the game that keeps me interested, and here are some of my first impressions. Number 1, this game shouldn't be a survival game. Sure, it has food, water, and stamina, but it is no way a challenge and it's an afterthought. The developers even said themselves that there is only one medical debuff you need to worry about, and that is bleeding. If you have bandages or gauze, you're basically good to go. Health regeneration is extremely fast, but you can also find medical kits too to regenerate even more. If you're looking for an actual survival game, this is not the game for you. Number 2, this game has really creepy aliens. Unlike zombie games, they only spawn when you go to certain areas that contain certain loot or high quality ores or minerals you have to collect. All the aliens I found were level 5, and I only seen 2 different types, but they shared the same powers. At first they seemed really intimidating, and it was actually kind of fun fighting against them, but like all other NPCs in survival games, you can quickly learn how to evade them and exploit their shitty pathing. And like other games, they don't hit very hard at all. I do like how they teleport in like all alien-like. If they were harder and more frequent, it would be better. I think they should be attracted via player count. The more players in the area, the more spawn in. It could really add to some crazy firefights or finding crates. Number 3, loot is everywhere. It only takes minutes to find a gun, ammo, and a backpack. You'd think that this would be a bad thing, but I actually sort of liked it with Shattered Skies. Sure, not all games function correctly with high quantities of loot, but like I said earlier, this game doesn't really play like a survival MMO. It's more of a perpetual H1Z1 King of the Hill kind of game. If you get killed, you can quickly acquire weapons and continue having fun. The loot system can be good or bad depending on your playstyle and what you want out of a survival MMO. Number 4, global banking. Another idea that I really like is the global banks that are set around the map. You can either go to an unsafe zone where people can kill you when you're storing your loot, or go to a safe zone to meet up with other players and trade. You can go out, PvP, loot, and store all the supplies fairly easily, and when you die you can also spawn at a safe zone again and get some of the supplies that you stored in your bank. Number 5, group system. Shattered Skies has a really decent group system, and it's fairly simple, but it works. There's no group mic at the moment, only text, but you can still use direct communication to talk to your teammates. It's a lot of fun going into safe zones and finding players to meet up with to go loot or PvP. It's part of the pinnacle of the game. Number 6, the PvP in Shattered Skies is essentially the entire point of the game at the moment. You even have PvP rating that goes up and down depending on if you kill a player or not. If you shoot a player, you'll also get a temporary hostile player icon in the top left of the screen, but it's not as ruthless as The Division. Your icon will only show up for a few seconds to nearby players and will never be on the map itself. With the game's group system, PvP rating, and fast looting, this is essentially an open world free-for-all deathmatch. Again, depending on your playstyle, you might like or dislike this. Number 7, crafting. Unfortunately, in the first few hours I played the game, I never once had to craft anything, nor did I see anybody crafting anything. If it's important, I can cover it another time. You can also acquire special loot from airdrops and finding secret loot crates and completing missions on the map. You'll earn loot bags that you can open for temporary items or cosmetics, and when you acquire cosmetics, they stay with you forever, and some require you to have a different rating with a faction or PvP rating. There are also factions in the game currently, but I haven't figured out how to use them or acquire reputation with them. I know you can get different weapons and cosmetics based on your rep like most other games with factions, but like I said, within the first 5 hours, I really didn't see anything. Overall, Shattered Skies is a mediocre, free-for-all open-world PvP game that is fun to play but comes from a shaky past. It's best played in a group, and it's extremely hard to tell if this game is going to have any sort of longevity. If I were to rate this game, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It's not a terrible game, but it's not a great one either. You can get it for 20 bucks on their website, but I'd be cautious if you're low on cash. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this first impressions and found it useful if you're interested in Shattered Skies. And if you are, let me know what you think in the comment section below of the game, and subscribe for more games like DayZ, survival MMOs, and games like Shattered Skies.